This is Mimosas in the Morning, where I answer your questions or topics that you would typically talk over with your friends at brunch while downing those mimosas to forget the mistakes from the night before. I mean, let's be real, we've all been there. So, with that, let's get into it. Hey guys, I'm back again for episode 2 of Mimosas in the Morning. This week we're going to have a bit of a mix of different questions. Last week was mainly about friendships. This week we're going to have a solid mix of different topics that I have a lot of experience in. And I think my advice can hopefully help some of you. If not, maybe you'll get some entertainment out of what I'm about to say. Question number 1 is, I'm currently in a toxic friends with benefits / situationship, and I'm not sure if I should keep seeing him or give up. Please help. So when this is a big question for me that I relate to big time. When I was 18, I was seeing this guy that was a few years older than me. He was, early 20s, but he had his own place, and I was freshly out of high school, still living at home and everything, and I was very naive. I had no idea how relationships worked. He was pretty much the first guy I ever had any romantic interaction with, and it was not good. That was a mistake in its own, to be honest with you, and it lasted a long time off and on, and I was very hurt when it ended the multiple times, but the last time it ended about a year ago, I was heartbroken. I guess if you're young like that and you're naive, my advice is to honestly maybe be open with that person and just see if they'll have a talk to you about what it is they're looking for, and hopefully they'll be honest with you right away and it can save you some heartache, because looking back now, I shouldn't have been doing the things I was at that age. So, kind of regret that. It was fun, but not a good idea for being so young and naive. But I guess, everybody kind of has to learn, those bad things that happen with relationships and what not to do. So I guess it kind of helped me in that way, that I became less naive and kind of guided me through that awkward early 20s, late teens age. But he was an asshole, probably still is, but it's fine. So I recommend that you really just think about it, be honest with them, and if causing you that much heartache, it's not worth it. Somebody else will come along, or honestly, just take the time and enjoy being young and single and focus on school or work or whatever it may be. The guy or the girl will come eventually. It's really not that big of a deal, I promise you. Question number 2, I'm not sure if I should change my major. I'm currently a business major, but I think my real passion is education. I'm a junior and pretty far into my credits, but I hate it. What should I do? So, when I was going into college, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to do sports management, but quickly after my first year of college, I realized that was not it for me, and I didn't know what to do. So I transferred and I became a sports media major at a community college, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It was the best decision I can make for myself and my interest, and I'm really glad I didn't just force myself to stay into something that was maybe a hint of what I liked, but really not totally it. This way I get to write and create things, and it's a lot of fun. I also, though, within the past year, have come to realize I had a passion for history, and that kind of sent me into a bit of a spiral, because I was thinking, well, crap, should I change my major now to something with history, or should I stay with journalism and just deal with it? Luckily, I have had declared my minor as a history minor, and my major is still journalism. So I kind of get to have a mix of both. So if you can find a way to do that, that would be great. I know with education and business, that might be a little difficult, but overall, just follow your passion. There's no point in staying in a job that you're going to be miserable for the next 40 some years. Do what makes you happy. The money will come, It may not be the best money, but the money will come and you'll be all right. That's my overall advice and the advice that I got from my parents. So I would go with that. Question number 3. I get a lot of shit from my friends and other people about living at home and commuting to school as a college student. How can I make myself feel more confident about it and not feel like a loser for still living at home at 22? Oh, girl, I relate. I'm 23, a senior-ish, whatever you want to call it, in college, and I am still living at home. And here's the thing. My first year of college, going back to that, like I've said the past 2 other questions, it was difficult. I wanted to move out. I wanted to live in like one of those apartment-style dorms on campus and everything and get the so-called real-life experience, college experience. I shortly realized soon enough that that was not for me. That's just not my personality. I like my own space. I like everything the way I want it and whatnot. I'm saying this as somebody who gets along with their parents and has a good at-home relationship with my parents. So it's not miserable to me. It's great. I still get support from them. Tuition price is cut down because I live at home, don't have to pay for housing. So honestly, there's a lot of factors into it that you just can remind yourself on days that are bad or when people try to give you shit about it, just throw off those to them. You get your own space, you get your own room, you don't have to share a messy bathroom, groceries, perhaps maybe gas. Your overall tuition will be less when you graduate. So just keep that in mind all the time, and it helps. It's worth it in the long run, I promise you. Thanks for joining me for this week's episode of Mimosas in the Morning. Join me next week when I dive into more of your juicy questions and topics. Until then, cheers!